Hi everyone, I'm Ghislain. I am a compulsive eater. I'm also a compulsive overeater. And yeah, grateful to be here. Grateful for Zoom. That I can jump off one meeting and jump on another one without moving. And okay, God, please take away my fear, take away my ego. Have me set aside everything I think I know about you, everything I think I know about myself, everything I think I know about others, and everything I think I know about my own recovery. So I may have an open mind and in your experience with all these things. Please help me see the truth. Okay. Um, I'll share. There's a couple of years ago, I can't remember exactly. I was meant to do a share and I was giving some guidance. And I've ended up with this card that talks about the bedevilment versus the promises. It says there's only 31 pages between the bedevilments and the start of the promises. So bedevilment on page 52 in the big book, and the promises, step nine promises start on page 83 to 84. Uh, and it's interesting over the years, I mean, I'm not, I'll be 6 year next year, but it's still, it's still over the years I can recognize better, you know, the bedevilments when they were in my life and how much of the promises are part of my life now. So, bedevilment, we were having trouble with personal relationships. In my addition, well, there was no personal relationships. Whatever there was just a mirage, a put on something, a pretend. There was nothing real, there was nothing authentic because in my disease, there's just, I couldn't have a relationship. The foods, the thoughts that I give the food, the energy of planning a binge, the energy of the next fix, how to get it, did not give me a chance to build a relationship whatsoever. And I couldn't word that like that when I was in the disease. I didn't have the words to express that. But that was my life. Uh the promises talk about we will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Everything I described before is the epitome of self-seeking. Like no, nothing matters. I just wanted my fix. And I'm in these rooms now, and I've got to give service. Yes, do I feel uncomfortable at times? Do have fear at times? Of course. But I know that this is gonna do good to me. This is gonna keep me on the right path. And hopefully this will give someone else something. So when there's opportunity for service, there's opportunity to show up. I've learned, the best I can not to shy away from it. I just have to show up, let go of the fear, let go of the discomfort, and watch my higher power do what my higher power can do. My higher power I call God, by the way, so I'll be saying God, and that's what works for me. Uh, and gaining interest in my fellows, yes, you know. I'll pick up the phone. Yes, I am. I'll say, yeah, let's work the steps, you know. You've asked. There's no reason that I will say no. I have to say yes if someone asks me, could you, you know, even if it's on a partial level, on a temporary level, I'll have to support anyone who asks for help. And that in turn is strengthening my own recovery. That's what I've learned. Uh, the bedevilment talk about we couldn't control our emotional natures. Yeah, I I think emotional again, I have in my addiction and just trying to get through life, I have developed this ability to put a mask on, to pretend. And I got so good at it that nobody, people couldn't see straight away that are you all right? And but inside me, there was a battle going on. I could not, you know, to the point now, still in my life, and I'm going through it now. It's like I have forgotten so much that I don't remember so many things because I was never there really for them. I was so emotionally bankrupt. I couldn't really be there for anything. And that brings up some sadness. That brings up some grief sometimes. Uh, but yeah, that has been my lot, and I can't cut it off. I can't. It's just my story. But on the other side, the promise is we will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. Like that's simple word, serenity. That word. I think it took recovery for me to really link to it. I knew the word, but it didn't really mean much to me. I didn't know how it feels to be serene. I didn't know how it feels and for me, serenity means, I'm in acceptance of what is. I'm here and I am accepting what is showing up for me. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not in that space. Like I don't just live in serenity, far from it, but I have experienced it. Thanks to the 12 steps, things have happened, and that initial fear will hit me, but very quickly I realize, oh, what is my part? What can I do? And I do that thing, and then I say, okay, that's my part. The rest, God is in charge, and that brings me serenity. That brings me peace and serenity like I've never known before. And sometimes it takes longer for me to find that space. Sometimes it's pretty quick. Sometimes it takes what it takes. But what I'm learning is I have lived it. I know it. I have recognized it. And therefore, it is possible. I just need to stick around, to keep doing this. Uh, the Bedevilment talks about we were prey to misery and depression. I was literally on antidepressants before I got into the 12 steps. I was, I needed it because I was in a bad place. Uh, And, having piled the weight on over the years, and they got to that height at the top of the pandemic lockdown. And I was just, yeah, I had to because I was, I found myself walking down the street and the thought of, oh, it would be better if I wasn't here. just crossed my mind. And that is when I knew this is literally killing me. And yeah, I was taking them and they were helping. But one moment I came into recovery, you know, and bit by bit, that depression started lifting. It started lifting. And first of all, it was, yeah, I can reduce the doses now. And then it's like, oh, yeah, you can come off. And I've not been back on since then. And that is what recovery gives me. Yes, the food brought me. I was the biggest I've ever been in my life. I was miserable. And I just wanted to lose some weight. Just wanted to feel okay in my skin. Not realizing that the real problem was elsewhere. The real problem was, at the depth of me, and I never couldn't really see it. Uh, the bedevilment talk about we couldn't make a living, and the promises talk about fear of people and of economic insecurity who leave us. I well, I'll probably have got to a place where I couldn't make a living if I carried on, but it wasn't quite, literal like that. But the fear of not having enough was quite big, was quite strong and potent and right in my face all the time. And today, I've not won the lottery, at least not yet. But I've got a job. I enjoy it. You know, I pay my bills on time. I do what I want to do, within reason. I'm not, I have everything I need. And that is the ultimate, fear of insecurity lifted because I don't battle anymore that would I have enough, would I have money for this, would I have money for that. But I have what I need. I have a decent job and it gives me everything that I need. Uh, and I'm grateful for that. I have a lot of gratitude for that. Because in my disease, there was a lot of compare and despair. And it took me a long time. And to be fair, there's still bits of that lingering where my compare and despair goes to, oh, you are 47 now, you know, you haven't achieved much in your life. So this and that. And it's just loads of crap, really. Pardon my French. And the reality of it is, I've got everything that I need. And therefore, I should have peace in my heart. uh, we had feelings of uselessness, and that's the bedevilment, the promises. That feeling of uselessness will and self pity will disappear. And oh boy, did I feel useless! I felt so useless in my addiction because I didn't feel I had any worth. I didn't feel I had anything to give. I didn't feel like. Well, because there was no self-esteem, there was no feeling worthy, none whatsoever. And these rooms, I've learned, to get self-esteem, you have to do self-estimable thing. To get self-worth, you got to do worthy thing. And it's I'm learning they don't have to be massive. They don't have to be, grandiose things. Simple things like picking a call to someone who needs it. Simple things like putting myself forward to take a meeting. to do the screen share, to anything that, and more important, I've gained skills, I've gained abilities that all of the sudden started to make me feel like, oh, actually I know some stuff. Actually, I've got something to give. And almost childlike is, it just started adding value to me. I started feeling like, you know what, I'm all right. I can, I've got something to give. And this is, I also know if I stick, as long as I want it, there's a potential for this to keep evolving, to keep, developing, to keep growing. Or my part is I need to show up, I need to be here, I need to keep doing it. We were full of fear. That's the bedevilments. And the promises we will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. I love that line in the promises. I absolutely love it. I love it so much. I've got it tattooed on me. I love that line. It's because the first time I genuinely remember that, oh, this is what this feels like. Because fear has been the bedrock of everything. Fear is always there. It's still there right now as I'm speaking to you. And fear used to absolutely cripple me. I couldn't do anything. You know, I'll be fearful walking down the street and someone, walking from the other side because quickly, oh, they're gonna be thinking how fat I am. They're gonna like it's a constant war fear zone within me. And uh in a school, I was working in a school and I went for a job interview. And I told the student the day before that I was going. So I came back and I didn't get the job. And I came back and across from a corridor, he just shouted, I said, did you get a job? And I noticed the peace to just say, no, I didn't. And that was the time I realized something is happening within me. Because the fact that I didn't get a job will have translated failure, not good enough. Not all of that will be happening. So I would have wanted to hide rather than, let anyone know that I didn't get the job I went for. And that intuitive reaction to just own what uh, is a gift of recovery. It really is. The devil may talk about we were unhappy and promises we're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. Freedom from food obsession. Because the food didn't make me happy. That's a fact. It did not make me happy. It gave me that feeling for 10-second maximum that something was going on, but it didn't last. And I kept going back, and the feeling of unhappiness kept getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And OA is teaching me freedom from food obsession one day at a time. And it's evolving. That freedom even it's not stagnant. It's not been the same since I came in. It has evolved. And I used to think happiness was, yeah, I'll win the lottery and have everything and like be it, and that would be happiness. And yeah, I know now that I've known happiness in these rooms. I've 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 laughed until I cried in this room because I was just happy. I was just joyful with fellows, with friends that I've met. I felt happy because I was able to be authentic, to say what I really wanted to say. And that translated as happiness. That translated as a joyful feeling. And yeah, nothing out there taught me that who who have. And before coming into recovery, I did therapy, I did counseling, I did all I could just to get a grip of whatever. But nothing taught me this. And none of this happened, in like, I can say for sure, and it's still happening, is the big book talk about spiritual awakening, the educational variety. And that education, I'm getting it here in these rooms through the shares that I get to hear, through the readings that over the years just kept being read. The same thing. I keep hearing it. And drip by drip, like things are sinking in. That psychic change is happening inside of me. And I can't stress enough. This is not a state that I claim I am in constantly, or this is my life now, because it's not. Things go absolutely wrong, and I lose it. And I'm angry, and I'm not serene. All of that is still happening. But I guess the key, the real deal is I have learned a way to deal with them through the 12 steps. I have learned a way to to not let them take over and run my life for however long. When I get those difficult emotion, and I mean those difficult situations, you know, I've got my pen and paper on a daily basis. I've got my prayers on a daily basis. I've got my step 10. I've got tools that I just never would have acquired if I didn't come into this room. Because there's nothing out there that's teaching that the way the 12 steps that. So I'm very grateful for that. We couldn't seem to be of real help to other people. That's a bedevilment. And promises, no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we'll see how our experience can benefit others. We will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. And I love how I can say it and say, I've stolen food to feed my addiction. I've stolen money to feed my addiction. I have lied through my faith. I have I have hurt others to to feed my addiction. I don't feel shame about that anymore because I understand when I get to say just someone might relate and think, oh, that doesn't have to be my life, because it certainly is not my life now. Uh, and telling my story, you know, is when I came and first heard someone say I'm a grateful compulsive overeater, I was like, what? But I get it because I am grateful. I am grateful because through compulsive eating and got getting to that desperate place. Someone said, "Have you heard of OA?" I said no, and they gave me a link, and I got on the meeting on the 18th of April 2020, and I've not looked back since then. And my life has totally changed. Nothing has changed yet. Everything has changed, like they say. It's I certainly didn't come in for what I'm getting. I came in because I thought, okay, this is just gonna be another diet to try or something. That was my mindset. Genuinely, I did not think that I was gonna stick around for, you know, and this is without a doubt, recovery is the one thing in my entire life that I've stuck to for this long because my natural way is but now off I go. Oh, I can't do it perfectly. Off I go. Oh, it's too hard. Off I go. And I know this, is not because it's not my own will. I know God is granting me this gift of willingness, willingness, open-mindedness, honesty, and the best I can. I'm just trying to live in that space, live in that truth the best I can, because that is where the answer has been. That is where the answer is. Therefore, I want to stick around. Most of all, we will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. And today, I remember when my first sponsor, the first chat we had, he was like, send me a gratitude list every night, 10 things you're grateful for. And when he said that, I genuinely thought, what are you on about? I didn't say it out to him, but I thought that, and begrudgingly, I did it for the first night. And that's not changed since then
Got
for
two
all this
minutes left.
time. Thank you, Laura. Uh, that's not changed. I've written a gratitude list every night because I guess I can see clearer what God is doing for me day in, day out. Most of the time, I'm not even aware of it. And that realization that, yeah, I just know nothing. I don't know half of it. I can't comprehend any of it. Uh, and God is always in my corner no matter what. And it's a good spot to be in, to have God in my corner. Uh, do I forget that all the time? And I want to do it my own way. I want to run the show. I want to control. But because I've been here, I find my way back. And that's good enough. That is good enough. Progress, not perfection. That's what this is always going to be for me. And today I'm grateful for that understanding. Yeah, to live by that, to practice that the best I can. So, on that note, I think I will leave it there. Thanks for listening.
And thank you so much, Slain. I love that you touched on the bedevilments and promises, and I have posted a link to that document in the chat for people if you haven't seen that before. What a wonderful topic, and thank you so much for spreading your experience, strength, and hope. So the chat is open for you to post your questions. Ideally, if you do it to me privately, it'll be easier for me to work out the order, but the chat's open if you can't work out how to do that. So this will also be recorded. So if you do have a question, the chat function is the only way you can get your question asked at this meeting. If not, hang around. I'm sure G will share his contact details if he's willing to do that at the end for you to reach out privately. So I've got a first question while everyone thinks of their questions. Okay, firstly, thank you for a wonderful share. Can you share more about what your step 11 review looks like?
My step 11 review is just the standard. I've got an app on my phone that I use to do my review. But oh, that's I think I'm talking about step nightly review there. But my step 11 practice, I don't know if that's the question, but again, perfection has no place in it. I know I can aim for perfection without even thinking about it. But today, I have non-negotiables. And if I can get those non-negotiable in, everything else is a bonus. So my step 11 practice is, get up and set 10 minutes on the side, meditation and writing while I'm doing that. And that gets me in contact, that conscious contact with with God is happening. And I'm amazed how many answers I get in that practice alone, just by taking pen to paper. Uh, and I have prayers that I read, and also just simple serenity prayer. I set alarms on my watch and say the serenity prayer throughout the day, and that keeps me, in contact with my, that conscious contact. I'm allowed, I get to practice it. I don't know if that was the question, but yeah, that's
That's great. Okay, the next question. This is what I was going to ask. But it's good for you to touch on. I think part of this has already been answered, but we'll ask it anyway. So, can you? Thanks again for your share. Can you share about more how you've expanded your connection to kind of God, higher power, like before program? So, like before program understanding to like now, that journey.
yeah. I think that journey for me before program, I had a higher power, which was God, and God's church, really, whatever. That was it. But with program, I discovered spirituality. And for me, it became pretty clear that there's a difference between spirituality and religion. Yes, they can be together, they can work together. But for me, I'm so much closer to the God that I've always known that I ever was when I was going to church every Sunday. And all this time, I've not been to a church, I've not stepped foot in a church, and it doesn't matter. I still feel pretty close to my higher power because I speak to my higher power every day. I am changing my ways to the right thing every day. I'm asking help to my higher power every day. So that kind of built this relationship, this friendship that I am nurturing. And therefore, it's just, yeah, it strengthens naturally through that.
Right. Thank you. Okay, next question. So, thank you so much for your share. How have you worked your program when life gets difficult?
The same way, the same way. I, again, I don't, this is not me. I believe God has granted me that gift. Like, nothing changes for me. I have the same routines no matter what is going on. Yes, I might do, some days I don't read all my daily readers because the day is running away from me and I've got things to do. But the thing is, again, my non-negotiable, they are always there. I have to do a meeting every day. I have to write every day. I have to contact God every day, even if it's just through the serenity prayer. So there are things that I don't negotiate around, come, life tough or not tough. And that I think, yeah, it's just the same. I don't change anything.
Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to put my own question in, kind of sharing within the realm of the traditions and OA, single purpose. Can you share more as a multiple winner, how those different layers of recovery have kind of expanded for you over time?
I am certainly a multiple winner. I'm in three fellowships, and I work all three of them simultaneously. It just so happened. Uh, they all took off in 2020. And what I have found is they all support each other. They're all, for me, they just, I don't, I don't see myself thinking, oh, I'm done with that now. This is the only problem, so I'll stick with this one on. I feel that, yeah, I I need all three of them. I could probably go for more, but I'll stick with three. And they just they have become the bedrock of my life on a day-to-day basis. You know, I kid you not. This is my fourth meeting today after a full day of work, and I've had a meeting in all three fellowship, obviously two in OA now. But and none of it's just the natural. It just flows. I don't force it. I don't push it. Don't get me wrong. If I need to be somewhere and I can't be on a meeting, I'll be somewhere. But I love how there's a flow to it. If I make it a routine, if I make it part of, my life. And yeah,
Yeah, thank you for answering that question. Okay, the next person asks, can you share more specifically about kind of abstinence and your food plan? I think this person is new, is looking for kind of where to start.
sure. My food plan abstinence has evolved. When I came in, it was just, can I just have 3 meals a day and a snack? It doesn't matter what is in the meal. It doesn't matter how much of it. Can I just have 3 meals a day? And that was my abstinence to start with. And I stuck to that. And I kept going to meeting. And then I started understanding my disease better. And I started seeing that, oh, that thing they're talking about that, oh, I get an allergic reaction. I eat some stuff and all I want to do is to go, 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 go. And I started observing that in my 3 meals because of what was in them. And with the help of a sponsor, I decided, oh, I've noticed this particular ingredient that gives me that reaction. So therefore, it is now a problem and I need to let it go. And then my abstinence shifted. That means I can't eat this particular, food anymore. Uh, and oh, this one I want to stay away from as well. because I'm kind of sensing, maybe not to that same level, but there's something. So I'll park it for now. I may come back to it. So what I'm trying, and further down the line is like, oh, I haven't been eating this thing for a while now. And I've been okay for a while, but right now I'm sensing, oh, why is this shirt getting tighter now? What is going on? What is happening? Oh, I need to do something about the amount that I'm eating. And then I found someone's app. We talk about weighing and measuring. How does that work? Because God knows I did not want to go near weighing and measuring. I did not want to. And it was out of fear, a fear of having not having enough, fear of whatever. But right now, I weigh and measure. And none of it, none of this needs to feel like a straight jacket. Because if it does, it won't work for me. So I'm open, and I pray for God to get me to come in the willingness to do the right thing around my food. And I'll ask for help, and I'll ask for guidance. But I need to be kind. I need to do that kindly, lovingly to myself. And that is really key. So food is evolved, is changed, is transformed. That will be my answer.
Great answer. Thank you. Okay, next question asks, can you share more about how you sponsor others? Kind of step 12 work.
Yes, as I said, I touched on, it's like, well, at the beginning, I would like, I'll get in meeting, and when they ask, oh, if you're available to sponsor, I'll usually put my, but then it got to a point where I didn't do that, but I came to the understanding that I think God will send me who God needs me to work with. And that whole attraction, no promotion. And so therefore, whenever someone get in touch and say, could you, work with me? My first answer is always yes. And I've been in situation where it didn't last. It just naturally fizzled out. And it is the other person's recovery ultimately, you know. And however effort that's put in that from that way, that's what I give back. And having the space to, for others is also important. So I've sponsored through the big book, like I was sponsored. I sponsored through podcasts, through writing, through, you know, doing going through all the 12 steps with a big book. And yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, next question. What does balance look like in your life? How do you balance work, sponsorship meetings, kind of fun, family, everything?
Hmm. Hmm. I wonder if I have a, yeah, balance. Balance balance started coming into my life when, you know, I started learning to listen to, what is going on inside of me. What's my gut instinct? My gut instinct. What is and also, planning, planning for myself. As I said, I have non-negotiable when it comes to recovery. I know if recovery is not up here, there won't be any balance. That's a fact. And I've got to know that. So recovery will always have to be at the top. So I'll put my meetings first, I'll put my daily stuff first. And Work time is work time. I know that that's a contract I've signed. I can't move away from that. Uh, I find time to spend with friends. I find time to travel. And because of this beautiful gift that is this thing like internet, laptop, Zoom, I'll always have recovery at my fingertip if I want to dial in. So balance does come, I believe, with the help of God in a way, but at the same time, getting my priorities right.
Wonderful. There's always time to get these done. Amazing, by the way. Anyway, next question. How do you work your program, like specifically at this time of the year around the holidays?
As I said, it doesn't change. It does. I know my disease does not know Monday from Sunday. So it's the same plan. It is the same plan. Nothing changes. I will do, I'm part of meetings. Oh, it's Christmas. Should we not have? Say what now? We are having a meeting. Christmas, no Christmas. The meeting is going ahead. That is my take on it. Because my disease does not take a day off. It does not. It just is there. Like I say, I'm in the rooms and my disease is doing push-up outside. Literally, that is that. And I have to know it's just another day. It's just another day in my book, you know? Yeah.
Got one question left. I think we've definitely got time for this one, if not possibly more. I think you've kind of touched on this before, but you've talked about step 11. Can you share more about kind of specifically how you do your step 10s?
Recently, I and again, God has a funny way of doing things. I've been in the rooms. I've heard of step 10 train over and over. Never really looked at it. I use my app and do my step 10. I call someone and do my step 10 live. You know, uh, and I kept hearing, step 10 train, step 10 body, and I hear it and I don't hear it. And out of nowhere, you know, I've now got a step 10 buddy and we do step 10s every day. So that's a new addition. But before that, it was just as I go. As I said, I have this app where, I can do instant those check-ins instantly, or like it says in the literature, there's so many ways that I can do it. That as long as I don't keep it inside me, as long as I speak it out to someone, and if I have a part, I own it. If I just follow what it says, and for a long time, I guess I've just poisoned myself. Like it says, I I drink, I keep it in me, and I expect the other person to suffer from it. It ain't gonna happen. So for me, it can't stay in me. The best way I can, I have to let it out, and that's the step 10. And what action can I take? What action can I take to get out of myself and do something about it? And keep it simple.
Amazing. Okay, probably last. There's a nice little quick question. Which of your tools are your favorites?
Ooh. I guess they all come in at different time because it's a toolbox. I can't use all of them at all time. But I would say meeting probably because, yeah, I love how they make me feel. I love that prospect of the same line I've heard over and over and over. One day it will just land differently, and I'll have an aha moment about me, about what is going on, and more get revealed. So yeah, I love meetings.
Okay. So there's a couple of minutes left. I just want to give you a chance if there's anything else on your heart that you wanted to share just before we come to the end. Doesn't, no, it's fine.
Yeah, I guess gratitude. Thank you for the opportunity. And if anyone need like to hear this, please stick around. It works. It works, and the body, the way to do what the way to do whenever it does it. But the real gift, the real caviar is in the inside work, because I was broken beyond, and I don't feel so broken today.
Fantastic. Okay. So we'll bring us to a close. So the Q&A obviously has now come to an end. Thank you so much, Ghislain, for a wonderful kind of presentation. We're so glad that you said yes to service and yes to coming into the rooms and we met you. So thank you so much for your service, time and energy.